Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Ditch Decade Diets podcast. I am your host, Lorna, certified food freedom coach and founder of the Ditch Decade Diets Academy. I've spent 10 years in an unhealthy relationship with food, binge eating, over-exercising, and feeling insecure in my body. This podcast is all about helping you get to the root of your food struggles and teaching you how to rewire your brain so you can end binge eating. If you're ready to improve your relationship with food and cultivate more self-love towards yourself and your health, this is the podcast for you. So let's get to it and jump right in. The truth of intuitive eating. I'm going to do a deep dive into what intuitive eating actually is, because what I first thought intuitive eating was a few years ago, back in like 2017, is completely different than what intuitive eating actually is. And you right now might be believing that you are eating intuitively, but you're not actually eating intuitively. Or you might have this misconception of what you believe eating intuitively is, and you might not be starting your journey of eating intuitively because you're scared or you're terrified, and you have this misconception of what intuitive eating actually is, but that's not actually what intuitive eating is. So I'm going to break this down for you. I'm actually going to share the truth of what intuitive eating actually looks like to give you guys so much hope and reassurance that eating intuitively isn't actually that hard or isn't actually that complicated. But when it comes to mastering intuitive eating, there's a few key things, of course, you need to master. So right now, you are probably sick and tired of having to weigh and track and measure your food. You know that literally tracking is so freaking all-consuming. It literally makes you obsess about food and calories so much more. You think about food so much more because you literally have to like weigh it out, look at the carbs, look at the protein, look at the fat, right? And it probably makes you binge more. I know when I was tracking my food, I say that I was tracking, but literally every single day I went over my macros because it was all consuming. And if I had something that went over my macros for the day, I'm like, screw it. Well, I already messed up my macros for the day. There's not even a point of continuing to track. So I would literally just throw in the towel. I wouldn't even track. And then I would just try to do better tomorrow. Hi, Devin. How often do you think you should weigh yourself? I'm a good intuitive eater. I only struggle stopping eating at 6 after 6 p.m. meals. I gain weight rapidly. So the thing is, you shouldn't be weighing yourself, because weighing yourself, and I'm going to be talking about this inside of the Eat Normally program, but the problem is when you weigh yourself, that impacts your decisions with food, and then you don't actually eat intuitively. You choose the lowest calorie option because you don't like what you see on the scale. When you see the number on the scale go up, it's so much harder for you to actually choose the meal that's satisfying for you, because now you're like, oh my gosh, I need to lose weight. I can't order the pasta. I have to eat the salad. Or I really want a cookie, but I probably shouldn't because the number on the scale went up and I got to lose weight. So do you see how it's like we can think that we're eating intuitively, but if you're stepping on the scale and you don't like what you see, that number can impact the choices that you make around food. And for me, I used to weigh myself every single day. Literally, I would wake up in the morning, I would go to the bathroom, I would weigh myself, and I literally would like make a section in my notepad and like write down the number every single day. I was so obsessed with it. And then when I didn't like what the number on the scale said, I would be like, oh, no, can't go out for dinner. Oh, no, can't add carbs for dinner. But that actually wasn't me being intuitive, because I wanted the carbs for dinner. I wanted rice on the side, but I'm like, oh no, protein and vegetables would be good. And then I wasn't satisfied with the broccoli and the chicken or whatever it was. And then I just ended up binging. So I don't recommend weighing yourself because it really just messes with your head. And it's just like tracking. It's all consuming. All of you guys right now probably want to think about food and your body so much less. How many of you guys don't want to be thinking about food 24/7? How many of you guys want to just wake up in the morning, decide what to eat, have your breakfast, effortlessly move on with your day? You want to be able to feel confident and, comfortable in your own skin, not constantly be a slave to the scale, because you know that stepping on the scale just makes you feel like crap. Right? You know that you don't want to be weighing your food or tracking your food or weighing yourself, but oftentimes people do this because they don't know how to eat without tracking. They don't know how to trust their body without stepping on the scale. When I didn't trust myself, that's when I would literally be weighing myself every single day, because I'm like, I don't trust myself. I got to make sure that I'm not gaining weight. When I didn't trust myself around food, I literally forced myself to weigh my food because I was like, I don't know how to eat without a diet plan. I don't know. I was on diet since I was like 14 years old. I didn't know how to eat without tracking my food. I didn't know how to just eat normally. I didn't know how to just eat without weighing my food. I'm like, I have to weigh my food. I don't want to gain weight. I have to weigh my food. I don't trust myself. I have to weigh my food. But the truth is, you don't have to weigh your food. You don't have to weigh yourself when you have self-trust. So going back to, Anna says, your content's really helped me. I don't binge, but I tend to just overeat. But regardless, your content has helped me with intuitive eating and not feeling guilty. Amazing. So awesome. So awesome. So awesome. So good. So with intuitive eating, most people have this belief, and let me know if maybe this is you. Most people have this belief of intuitive eating is, I can just eat whatever I want. I can just eat whatever I want, whenever I want. Like, that's what intuitive eating is. And I had this belief. That intuitive eating was just like, you can literally eat whatever. If you want ice cream, if you want brownies, if you want cake, if you want chips, like, have it. That's what intuitive eating is. And so literally what I did back in like 2016 or 2017, I went to the grocery store and I'm like, I was so done with weighing my food and tracking my food. I literally deleted my Fitness Pal because I was recognizing it was just not healthy for me mentally to be tracking my food. Like, I just knew it wasn't for me. And I went to the grocery store and I literally bought all of this food, like, that I normally wouldn't have. But I'm like, oh, well, intuitive eating, you can eat whatever you want. And I literally went to the grocery store and I bought all of these snacks that didn't even look good or didn't even sound good. But I'm like, well, I guess I could have it. Like, I'm an intuitive eater. So I came home and of course I literally started eating all those foods, like the cereal and the like cookies and the whatever it was. And I wasn't feeling good. I'm like, I literally feel even more out of control than when I was tracking. Like, this can't be right. I can't eat intuitively. Intuitive eating doesn't work. I can't trust myself. I literally would have bagels and cereal for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner because those were like my favorite foods. Oh my gosh, almond butter with banana on a bagel, best snack ever. And then cereal with some fruit, like, oh my gosh, so good. But when I was tracking, I was never able to have bagels because it would blow my carbs for the day. When I was tracking, I was never able to have cereal because, well, blew all my carbs for the day. So I never allowed myself cereal or bagels. So what do you think I ate literally nonstop the moment I stopped tracking? Bagels and cereal. I kid you not. Breakfast, it was bagel and cereal. Maybe I would have lunch, but for dinner or a snack, again, bagel and cereal, because I never allowed myself to have those foods. I never allowed myself to have them. So of course, the moment that I like flood the gate open and I'm like, you're not diet anymore, you don't have to track this, I literally would have all of the foods that I never allowed myself to have. But that's not intuitive eating. Now, at the beginning, at the beginning of starting intuitive eating, there's going to be like this excitement. There's going to be like, oh, I haven't had bagels in such a long time, or I haven't had cereal in such a long time. Like, I'm super excited. So you might enjoy those foods a little bit more. But intuitive eating is not you purposely eating foods that you tend to binge on. The reason that you might be feeling out of control with intuitive eating is because you're not eating intuitively. You're just going to the grocery store and just buying whatever you want and saying that you're eating intuitively because you're no longer tracking your food. You're no longer in MyFitnessPal, but that's not eating intuitively. I literally I had this this rebel inside of me that was there for so long when I was tracking my food and I was dieting. It was like this rebel was like being built up, and it was like, you can't eat these foods. You can't eat these foods. And it was like being built up, like this pressure. And all of a sudden, when I deleted MyFitnessPal, it was like this rebel came out and was like, oh, now I can have all the cereal and I can have the bagels and you can have all the chocolate that you want. And it just like exploded. And of course, I felt out of control with food because I literally was depriving myself of those foods for so long. So, of course, if there are certain foods that you have not allowed yourself to eat, of course, you're going to be out of control. But right now, you might be thinking that you're doing intuitive eating by just allowing yourself to have whatever you want, and that's not intuitive eating. You're not going to feel well. I quickly realized after deleting MyFitnessPal, going to the grocery store and buying all these foods, I did not feel good. Eating cereal and bagels for breakfast and dinner and then a snack, I'm like, I felt like a bag of shit. I felt like shit. And I'm like, this isn't right. I need to go back to my diet. How many times have you tried eating intuitively and you went back to MyFitnessPal? You went back to dieting. Carissa, my badass membership client, she's also an Eat Normally. If you aren't in one of her programs, you have to. If you think her posts are fire, the information and community she provides in her memberships are life-changing. Carissa is amazing. And it's so true. If you guys think the information that I post on my social media is good, just wait until you get inside the membership or Eat Normally. Like, it's fire. I love you, Carissa. You're so sweet. And Carissa has actually been crushing it. I actually made a post about her the other day because she's been able to have some pancakes with syrup without weighing everything. And it's so freeing. So I love that for you, Carissa. So how many of you guys have tried intuitive eating, but then you went back to dieting or you went back to MyFitnessPal? This happened to me. I am not going to lie. This happened to me a few times when I was trying to do it on my own and I didn't know how to eat intuitively. So I got so scared and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling even more out of control with food. Like, I can't trust myself to eat intuitively. I need the rules. But I knew that I didn't want the rules. I knew I wanted to eat intuitively, but because I didn't know the tools, because I didn't know how to eat intuitively, I was just like trying to do it and going to the grocery store and just buying all these foods that didn't even make me feel good. And I didn't want that. So I thought intuitive eating was just eating whatever you want, but that's not what intuitive eating is, you guys. And this is why so many people start intuitive eating and they're like, oh, no, it doesn't work. Nope, doesn't work. Gonna go back to MyFitnessPal. Nope, gonna go back to dieting. Because you're not doing it right. And it's okay if you're not doing it right. I don't want you to feel bad because look, girlfriend, I freaking wasn't doing it right for the longest time because I was trying to do this on my own. I didn't have the tools. I didn't know how to get back in tune with my hunger and fullness cues. They felt blocked and muted. I'm like, hello, are you there? I'm like, I feel full. Why can't I stop eating? I didn't know when I was hungry. I didn't know if I was having an urge, if I was having a craving, if I was just bored, if I was hungry. My cues in my body were so out of whack. They were broken. They weren't actually, but that's what I kept telling myself because I didn't hear anything. I didn't know how to trust myself. I didn't know how to actually properly eat intuitively, because every single time I kept chocolate in the house, I would just binge. But I knew that there was a way to do this sustainably, because I would hear people being like, I can leave food on my plate and just stop when I'm full. I heard of people being like, I can keep chocolate in the house and I forget that it's there. And I'm like, that's great for you, but like, that's not going to happen for me. But it happened for me because I learned how to eat intuitively properly. So I want you to actually get excited. And if you feel like intuitive eating hasn't worked for you in the past, don't beat yourself up. See this as excitement, because just imagine you actually learned how properly without seeing it as a free-for-all, without just eating whatever you want. And you actually have a step-by-step process where you learn how to eat when you're hungry, how to stop when you're full, how to trust yourself so that you can keep chocolate in the house and have some without guilt or without spiraling out of control. You too can be an intuitive eater. Intuitive eating is not complicated, but it's complicated when you don't know what you're doing. Like for me, when I tried back in like 2016, 2017, I had no idea what I was doing. So I was eating bagels and cereal all day. And then I would have chocolate all the time and ice cream all the time. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't working. That's not intuitive eating. There's a process to it. And for those of you guys who care a lot about your health, I'm sure you care about your health. Because if you follow me, you probably care about your health. You care about your health. You want to physically feel good. You want to feel good in your own body. And I'm here to tell you, you get to feel so damn good in your own skin with eating intuitively. In fact, I actually got healthier when I started eating intuitively properly. When I started eating intuitively properly and I got my hunger and fullness cues back, I was eating when I was hungry and I was stopping when I was full. I was naturally learning how to crave these nutrient-dense foods. And then because I didn't have the all or nothing mentality, I would be able to go into my cupboard, grab a little bit of chocolate, eat it, and move on with my day, not feel like, oh my gosh, Lorna, you messed up and you didn't even, you're way over your macros and like, you're such a failure. Just go binge the whole thing because today you already messed up. I didn't have that all or nothing mentality anymore. And if you just imagine you didn't have the all or nothing mentality, you would be able to have some chocolate, move on with your day because you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. The moment you think, oh my gosh, I messed up, I'm such a failure, is the moment you go back into the cupboards and not just finish off the pack of chocolate, but then you go and you get the ice cream and then you go get the cookies and then you go eat the pizza and you go for a free-for-all because you're like, I'm already messing up. Intuitive eating is closer than you realize, but you got to actually learn how. It's not just eat whatever you want. And it makes me so sad because I feel like so many people don't start intuitive eating because they have this fear of, I'm going to gain 1 million pounds and I'm going to throw my health and fitness goals out the window and I'm just going to be eating more sugar. That's not what intuitive eating is. You guys see the meals that I post. I love my healthy meals. I love my nutrient-dense meals. It makes me feel really good. But I also have the foods that I love. For example, this weekend on Saturday night, it was not my dad's birthday, but we celebrated my dad's birthday. It's coming up on Thursday, but we were celebrating his birthday. And I had pizza and actually didn't have dessert. I didn't have dessert because I was like, I'm actually full from the pizza. I didn't even finish the pizza. But a few years ago, when I didn't have a good relationship with food and I didn't know how to eat intuitively, you know what would have happened? I would have finished my entire pizza because I had this mentality of I'm doing something bad. Oh my gosh, I'm going out for dinner and I don't normally go out for dinner. So like I better eat all this pizza and like I'm already messing up. So just finish the pizza. Also order dessert because tomorrow you're going to go on the treadmill for hours. You're going to burn off all the calories. You're going to get back onto your diet plan. And I literally would have just binged. But instead, I ate until I was comfortably full. I took the rest of the pizza home, and many of you guys saw in my stories, I had leftover pizza yesterday, and I got to enjoy pizza on Saturday and on Monday. Sunday, I actually didn't really feel like it. And then Monday, I had some and I finished it. That's it. No guilt, no binging, no all or nothing mentality. But if I didn't actually know how to get in touch with my hunger and fullness cues and I still had the all or nothing mentality, it would have been really easy for me to just finish the pizza. Like I said, feel like shit. Or actually, I probably wouldn't have ordered pizza, to be honest with you. A few years ago, oh my gosh, you would have never seen me order a pizza. Never, 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 never. Lorna and pizza, that was just not a thing. I would be sitting there with my little green leaves and my salad. And then I literally would not feel satisfied and I would go home and binge. That was the recipe. That was what I used to do. Because I was terrified of going out for dinner. I literally would have spent the entire week leading up to this dinner searching up the menu. I didn't even know where the heck we were going until Saturday. I had no idea. I thought it was in a completely different location and it was a different place. Like, I had no idea. Oh my God, I do that now. Well, Connie, you're in good hands inside of the academy. You're in good hands. And we're going to get you there. So I would have gone into the all or nothing mentality. I would have been stressing about the menu. I would have probably not ordered the pizza, or if I did, I would have finished it all. There would have been no way that I would have pizza left on my plate. There'd be no way. It would be all gone. No matter how full, I would have to like literally burst out of my pants. I didn't care how full I was. I would have finished it. I would have finished it. Or like I said, I would have ordered a salad, came home, and then I would have binged. But now that I don't have the all or nothing mentality, now that I actually feel my satisfaction cues, now that I trust myself to be able to order the pizza, I can feel satisfied. I can feel full. I can leave food on my plate without being like, oh my God, got to clean my plate. Oh my gosh, I never go out for dinner. Oh my God, I better eat it all now. I took the rest home and I enjoyed it yesterday and Saturday. Jordan says, Lorna, my girl, are you in my head? Loving your master classes right now. Yes, you just got the bundle. So exciting. Hey, Jess. So I want to bust any myth that you have regarding intuitive eating. You might feel like I can't eat intuitively because you're not doing it right, and that's okay. I wasn't either in the past until I actually properly learned how. I wouldn't have been able to, it's been over 5 years now, probably more than that, since I've been eating intuitively, and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I don't throw my health and fitness goals out the window. I didn't blow up like a balloon. I didn't say screw it to my health. I still care about my health, and the way that I teach intuitive eating is very different than a lot of people. I don't just say, go eat whatever you want. Yep. Oh, you want 5 cookies today? Go. And you want pizza tomorrow? Go. Yeah, absolutely. You're going to feel like crap. And I know that that's not what you want. What I help you with is if you have pizza, you can eat it without guilt. I know that that's what you want. You don't want to purposely be eating pizza every single day, but if you go to the restaurant and you want to have pizza, I know you want to be able to eat it without binging and without feeling guilty. I know that's what you want. I know. Hi, Callie. She's inside of Eat Normally. I'm so excited. We're starting on Thursday. I know you want to be able to have your nutrient-dense meals because it gives you energy. It makes you feel good. You want to feel good in your own skin. I know you want that. But I also know you want to quiet that food noise. I also know you want to stop thinking about food 24/7. I know you want to be able to have a snack and just go into the fridge, choose what you want, and move on with your day. How many of you guys want that? You're like, I don't want the food noise in my head. It would be fantastic if I can just eat normally without having to weigh, track, and measure my food. It would be great if I didn't have to look at the menu a week in advance and I can just show up and order what I want without feeling so anxious and choosing the lowest calorie option, right? Like, I know that that's what you want. You can master intuitive eating. I have no single doubt in my mind once you learn the tools. I have no doubt in my mind. It's closer than you think. You might think, oh my God, it's so far away. I can't trust myself. I don't know when I'm hungry. I don't know when I'm full. Yeah, because you haven't learned that yet. Diets don't teach you how to eat when you're hungry and how to stop when you're full. Diets don't teach you satisfaction cues. Diets don't teach you how to build self-trust. Diets don't teach you how to get out of the all or nothing mentality. Diets create the all or nothing mentality. Diets mess with your hunger and fullness cues. Diets mess with your freaking head, and it creates an unhealthy relationship with food. So even if you've done 9,000,000 diets in the past, you can still eat intuitively, because when you learn the key principles of intuitive eating, you're going to be able to master it. But some of you guys are wanting to eat normally and eat balance and be in control with food, but you're still dieting and you're still tracking and weighing and measuring everything. But that doesn't fix your relationship with food. If you don't fix your relationship with food, you're still going to have the all or nothing mentality, even if you've deleted MyFitnessPal. You're still going to eat way past fullness if you haven't gotten back in tune with your fullness cues. You can't just stop dieting and be like, why am I not in control? Well, first of all, you got to learn the tools, and then you got to practice them. Getting back in tune with your hunger and fullness cues is not going to happen in one day when you haven't been listening to it for 10 years. But you can get there, and it's closer than you realize. It's actually much easier than you think. So there are so many things that I kind of spoke about inside of here right now, but I just want you to get excited. I want you to realize that you get to craft your own version of freedom, your own version of intuitive eating that feels so good for you. There's not a one-size-fits-all approach to intuitive eating. Some of you guys have PCOS. Some of you guys might have diabetes. Some of you guys might have food intolerances or things like that. And you can't just eat whatever you want. First of all, that's not even what intuitive eating is about anyways. But you get to see what feels best for you. And what I help my clients with, and what I'm going to be teaching inside of Eat Normally, instead of food rules that makes you absolutely batshit crazy around food, there's an entire training on how to create boundaries for yourself so that, yes, you can still have the chocolate, but you create a boundary of what's going to feel really good for you so that you're not depriving yourself, but you're also not just eating chocolate every single day because you can. So these boundaries are going to really be helpful for you if you still have health and fitness goals and you still want to feel really good in your own skin. You can create boundaries out of love because you care about yourself, not rules of like, you can't eat this, or you can only have one, the rules is what creates pressure, and the rules is what creates binging. But what I'm going to teach you inside of Eat Normally is how to create these boundaries from a loving place of, I want to take such good care of myself. I care about how I feel. I care about how I mentally feel. So I'm not going to deprive myself. But I also know that I don't feel well when I eat X, Y, and Z food every single day. Connie, yes, you do. When you're in the academy, you get access to all my programs. Okay. So we're going to be talking about, hi D. So we're going to be talking about boundaries. I'm going to teach you the key principles of intuitive eating. I'm also going to teach you gentle nutrition. So how to be able to naturally crave healthier foods without feeling deprived, without feeling like you're going back into diet culture, without feeling restricted. We're going to have an abundance mindset. You're going to be able to naturally crave these healthier foods and eat normally. I literally created this program and I called it Eat Normally because all I personally wanted was to just eat like a normal person. I'm like, I just want to eat normally. Like, people who can just go to the restaurant and stop when they're full, I want that. People who can just have a slice of cake and that's it, move on with their day, not spend the next day over exercising or restricting the next day. Like, I want that. So I'm going to teach you that. I've mastered intuitive eating. You guys, I've been doing this for 5 years now without spiraling out of control, without gaining a million and bajillion pounds, without, without seeing intuitive eating as a free for all. Like, I've mastered this, and I'm going to help you become an intuitive eater who can eat without weighing, tracking, and measuring your food inside of my program, Eat Normally. So we're starting on Thursday. Literally, we're starting on Thursday. I'm so freaking pumped. I'm so freaking amped up. This is the program to help you eat intuitively. So if you resonated with this, and again, maybe right now you are tracking calories and macros and you're done with that shit and you're like, I'm freaking done with that. I know I want to eat intuitively and you want a step-by-step process, this program is for you. However, maybe you're not tracking right now, but you know that you're not really doing intuitive eating properly because you're still eating past fullness. You don't know when you're hungry. You just kind of are like giving yourself a free-for-all, and you know that that's not really intuitive eating. I'm going to help you master it. So we're starting on Thursday. I'm so freaking pumped. If you join before Thursday, you save $100. Somebody just joined this morning. I'm so excited. You do save $100 if you join before Thursday. If you're in the academy, this is included. If you're in the membership, you get a special rate, so you can message me. If not, DM me, Eat Normally. I'll send you all the details. You can join us. We start on Thursday. This is literally the only program you need to really master intuitive eating. And I'm so freaking pumped. Intuitive eating changed my life. I feel free with food. I don't think about food 24/7. I'm not obsessing about calories. I'm not only choosing the lowest calorie option. I take care of my health. I feel amazing, and you get to experience this as well too. So we start Thursday. You can message me, Eat Normally. Like I said, I'll send you all of the details. It's going to be really incredible. Let me even see how many people, there's so many people who actually just joined this round. There's like 38 of you guys. It's going to be an amazing program. There's going to be community. It's going to be fantastic. So DM me for all the details. Have an amazing rest of your day. You're so welcome. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye. Wait, I'm not finished recording. Yes, I 100% intentionally left that in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.